I also wanted to first introduce Joel Krieger, one of our Magic Leap product experts that's joined us today to talk a little bit more about what you're about to see and kind of how the Assist demo came to be. So Joel, thanks for being here. Would you like to share a little bit more before we jump in?
Yeah, thanks, Julia. Yeah, I can set a bit of context before we look at the demo. So Assist is one of two internal apps that we've been working on. The other one's Workshop, Magic Leap Workshop. And on a spectrum of being, this app, it's more than a demo. So we're going to watch a demo of it, but the app itself is more than a demo, but it's not quite a full solution. We make these apps really to provide out-of-the-box utility on Magic Leap 2. So it's to give someone something useful to do with the device right when they open it up. And in many ways, this allows people to get a toe in the water with AR, start to see how Magic Leap might unlock value for their business. And so with Magic Leap Assist, obviously we're playing in this category of remote assistance, and there's a lot of remote assistance type apps out there. And I think that's probably because this is a well-established need. There's an obvious use case with a clear ROI, but often remote assistance is like a core feature that's a part of a larger app that's centered on things like work instructions or training. And of course, there's a lot of fantastic ISV partners who are making apps in the space. And so what we're trying to do with this is use this kind of well-trodden area to explore some novel interaction ideas. And so one thing to think about is, there's this interesting evolution of getting help in understanding how to do something. So you have the old school instruction manuals, which a lot of people don't, it takes a long time to read. So the modality there is you read something, then you do it. And then, you have the YouTube era where there are all these useful how-to videos on YouTube but it's still that modality of, okay, I'm going to watch something and then do it. And now with AR assistance, you kind of have this coming together. It's a little more simultaneous, this learning what to do and then doing. And so a lot of the design, and you'll see some of this in the demo, but a lot of the thinking is really around how do you design a full experience that's centered around this embodied task of a real person trying to do a real thing with real objects, and make it as close as possible to the experience of having a real expert right over your shoulder, calling attention to things, handing you a tool, showing you what to do, so that you have that confidence and guidance. And so that's really what we're exploring with this app. Yeah, that said, I think we can go ahead and take a look.
Thanks, Joel. All right, we'll get the video going here.
Magic Leap Assist connects field
techs to remote experts for live guidance that enhances training and customer service. Employees at all levels can provide better maintenance, diagnostic services, and repairs across multiple professions. Designed to give Magic Leap 2 users immediate access to augmented reality software, Magic Leap Assist facilitates accelerated on-the-job training, employee retention, and the ability to upskill the workforce. Today, we will show how experts joining via a web browser can chat with and guide the ML2 user with tools like spatial annotations, file transfers, and more, demonstrating how AR-enabled remote assistance can increase efficiency and accuracy of key scenarios for enterprise, including training, inspection, assembly, maintenance, diagnosis, and repair. For our demo today, we'll be following a server technician wearing a Magic Leap 2 as they work through some of these scenarios using Magic Leap Assist, while the remote expert joins via web browser from anywhere in the world. The server technician who is wearing the ML2 has initiated an assist session, and the expert has joined via a web interface. The ML2 streams live video and audio so the expert can see what they're seeing and provide live assistance. Notice the camera view in the expert web interface. Assist also generates a live 3D mesh of the technician's space, which enables the expert to have extended interactive capabilities. You can see a live mesh of the space being formed as the technician looks around the room. Notice the cone in the mesh view. This indicates the location of the technician and which direction they are looking. In Assist, we also have the ability to share 2D schematics and complex 3D files. Here you can see the expert drag and drop a 3D file into the mesh or camera viewport. The technician accepts the file transfer and it instantly appears in their workspace. They can move it around, rotate and scale it to get a better look. With this kind of visualization, technicians can quickly get familiar with a component before opening it up. Using annotations, the expert can place pins in the ML2 user's environment, spatially anchoring it to the mesh. This draws attention to the ML2 user to the equipment they need to use to complete the task. Now you will see the expert is sending over a 2D schematic. The technician is able to grab the diagram that represents the instructions for the switch panel in front of them. This functions like a contextual visual guide for which port is supposed to connect to which device. Both the expert and ML2 user have the ability to create spatial annotations. Here you'll notice the ML2 user communicating with the remote expert to receive guidance and confirmation that the cables are going into the correct ports. Let's consider the business value of what we just saw. The experience and knowledge of one veteran employee can be scaled to many others. One maintenance expert can now virtually direct more junior operators in the field. Travel time and costs are greatly reduced, as a seasoned worker can get the job done remotely, directing the hands of others from afar. Inspection, diagnosis, maintenance, and repair tasks can now be performed with more routine efficiency, consistency, and reliability. This elevates the capacity of more junior employees to perform tasks well above their experience level. Assist is now available to be downloaded on Magic Leap 2 devices by going to the featured apps on your main menu.
All right. Thank you guys for watching that. Wanted to invite our Magic Leap experts back to the panel here. I hope everyone enjoyed seeing that. Before we jump into some questions, I did just want to quickly introduce some of the guests that we have here today with us. So first I'll start off, we have Joel Krieger, who's our VP of Design for Magic Leap Solutions, which is an integrated design build team who creates in-house AR applications like Assist, which you just saw, and Workshop that really provide customers with our out-of-the-box utility on ML2. Prior to Magic Leap, Joel also served as Chief Creative Officer of Second Story, a design studio that blended physical and digital environments. Joel has previously held a lot of design and leadership roles at companies like Razorfish and Sapient Nitro, focused on interactive spaces and emerging technology. So we're glad Joel is here with us today. Also wanted to take time to introduce Chris Hebert. He's our Director of Solutions Engineering. Chris has been with Magic Leap since 2018 and has managed a variety of different projects, but including managing volumetric capture team and also the Mica Virtual Human project. Over the next decades after those projects launched, next year and a half, not decades, he produced multiple experiences for Magic Leap 1 that you may have seen previously that were shown at festivals and conferences around the world. In 2020, Chris took on a management role of the engineering efforts within the solutions design team at Magic Leap, which was focused on first-party application development. He continues to be an integral role today and oversee the development of strategy of all the applications the team is building for Magic Leap 2, as well as supporting functions around R&D. So thank you, Chris, for being here today. Also, Jonathan Martin, some of you may have met Jonathan on the ecosystem side. He is our VP of Ecosystems at Magic Leap, and he leads the team responsible for educating and inspiring and connecting ML2 developers. Jonathan has over a decade of experience in applied AR development, and his passion and ambition have led to over a half a dozen patents and multiple product deployments across his career. Jonathan and the team are pioneering some of the world's most innovative enterprise AR deployments. So Jonathan, welcome, and thank you again, all of you, for being here. So we're going to take a few questions here, I think. I'm going to defer to you guys. Jonathan, Joel, Chris, is there a particular question you want to take first here?
Yeah, I can jump in. I see that Tony's asked a question about whether we're going to provide an APK, SDK, or code examples that would expand on the ML Assist for other use cases and for other developers. At the moment, we do not have a plan to open source the Assist code or to offer a specific SDK for that. It is something that we talk about quite a bit. It's a it's a serious undertaking and a serious body of work to be able to do so. Though we are looking at ways to maybe provide some hooks into Assist so that others could add functionality to it. But we were really in the first instance trying to get to an MVP state that we thought was a successful application as a demonstration of the remote assist application on device. And so that was our first goal. We've got some serious and improvements coming up. And I think then we can take a breath and think about where we go next with the app.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Let's see here. I know that this is great. We have a few additional questions that are trickling into the Q&A feature. Again, if you guys have anything else you'd like to ask, please feel free to drop that in now, and we will get to a couple of those questions. I wanted to see if we could talk a little bit about another question from Frank R. With Magic Leap Assist. Is there any functionality or possible potential use cases where expert can be tactile feedback to a user? Does anyone want to tackle that one on our side?
Yeah, sure. I'll go again.
I'll go again, Chris.
I mean, yeah, no, that's totally fine. That's actually a fascinating question. I think right now the limitation to that would be we would have to provide, in terms of a tactile signal to the device user, would really have to be providing a haptic signal to the controller. So if an ML2 device wearer is also using the controller, there could be some modalities in there where the expert could trigger some kind of haptic for the user. I'm wondering if you're thinking more, and you could ask us offline about this, if you're thinking more about like some kind of glove usage that would provide feedback to a user. And that we've not explored, but interesting question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Piggybacking on that, one of the, I mean, this is not tactile feedback, but this is one a good example of kind of alternative ways of communicating in this app. When in the video you saw the expert drop a pin, one of the things that doesn't come through is there's the spatial audio there. So we've had a lot of fun and seen a lot of really interesting things emerge when, for example, you're trying to direct someone's attention to something that's out of their field of view. So if Chris and I were in a session and I had the device on and he was the expert and he dropped a pin behind me, directing my attention to kind of pick up a tool over here, I would actually hear it in pretty much the exact location. And so I could turn, I could know where he's referring me to. And as soon as I turn, then I see that pin in my visual field of view. So I think there's a lot of, kind of unexpected ways that we can allow that, both parties to provide feedback to each other.
So more to explore there. And as Chris said, if you guys have additional feedback, feel free to send those questions in and we can try and dig in deeper. I did want to pivot a bit, and Jonathan, this question is for you. So I'll read this out loud from one of our attendees. Do you have any AI integrations for the user wearing the Magic Leap? For example, can the device identify what the user is looking at and have appropriate documentation or models automatically being presented to the user? Secondly, can the user call up information using his or her voice, using LLM, Tech, or TIE into the ChatGPT or other services, since hands might be busy doing the work? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Obviously, the AI advances recently are exciting, and a lot of our partners are exploring that technology and integrating that technology into their solutions. The Assist application itself does not have any sort of ChatGPT integration, but there's some cool use cases and some cool applications that are under development that I think we'll start seeing over the next 6 months to a year. Coming out on our platform. So it's great tech. It's exciting. We're looking forward to work.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. Excuse me. Another one here for Jonathan. Do you have any experience with the aerospace and defense industry around compliance and security?
Yeah, definitely. So we actually have a public sector team that focuses exclusively on defense and on other public projects. We'd love to put you in touch with that team. And we do have some compliance. I don't have the certifications off the top of my head, but we have, all the acronyms that are associated with, the defense industry. And we would love to provide you with some more information on it.
Perfect. And shameless plug here. Magically, we'll have a booth at the ITSEC event coming up in Orlando following the Thanksgiving holiday. So if anyone is already attending there, we will be there on the expo show floor to stop by and check out a Magic Leap demo in person. Also, I'm going to pivot here a bit and ask a little bit about assets and customization. Chris, this is for you. So someone wrote in, is there a library of 3D assets or the ability to upload custom videos and content?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I saw a couple of questions around that topic coming through. So there are a few sample sample assets in the application just to get users started if you're using it in the first time. But we do have the ability to upload 2D and 3D and video assets into a session. So that's done through the, Assist is essentially, an ML2 user connected to a web expert on a browser. The web expert can load in 2D assets that include PNGs, JPEGs, and PDFs, 3D assets that are GLBs, GLTFs, and then video assets that are probably almost a dozen different video formats are supported at the moment. We're working hard to expand the number and kind of 3D models and 3D file formats that we support. Most people know 3D is a pretty tricky subject. So our next release should include FBX and OBJ support, but we are prototyping right now the ability to load in a range of CAD files, step files, USD files, and others, so that we think those are use cases that expand capability of the application to a very broad number of industries.
Cool, and I think you covered this to some extent, but is there anything more that you'd want to add, Chris, around 3D mesh scenes, how they're created, and is it real time?
So the mesh scene that the user that the expert is seeing is yes, it's real time. The ML2 device is constantly meshing the environment and updating that mesh on the fly. That mesh data is being sent over a data channel, WebRTC, to the expert user on browser, and the window that you see of the mesh in the 2D browser is it's a Unity web application. So that gives a lot of more contextual data to the expert so that they can move that mesh around. They can expand out and see kind of a bird's eye view or a dollhouse view of the entire room. So it's an augmentation, I think, to the video, and provides a lot of. And it's also, by the way, the mesh is also how we enable the web experts to drop pins, to annotate, and to have those annotations appear properly in the device user space.
Thanks for that, Chris.
Joel, did you have anything to add on to that?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to, one interesting kind of, aside when it comes to the mesh, that's useful in a field situation, right? So it's like there's someone going into an unknown environment. And so that live meshing is super helpful in terms of creating more awareness of the space you're operating in. But you could also consider, and we've had a lot of discussions about this, the ability, if you are using ML2 and Magic Leap Assist in a known space, so like this is your factory or your warehouse or whatever, and you have a digital twin, then you could imagine a situation where you replace that live mesh with a much more high fidelity digital asset that gives you like way more precision in terms of your annotations, way more like situational awareness in terms of what you're looking at, what content goes with where you're physically at in that space. And so that to me is a really interesting area. So it's kind of thinking about Assist and going into unknown environments versus known environments.
I'm going to pass another one to you, Joel, on with that momentum there going. Is there a way for the point cloud that is captured during the room scan to be captured for future use? That was a question that came in from one of our attendees.
Yes. And actually, Chris may be better to answer this one. I just thought that one was interesting. I don't think we can capture it, right, Chris? I mean, we have the Spaces API on the platform. So, but it's something we've talked about.
Yeah, and actually, we're more actively working on that for our other application, Workshop, which I think Joel briefly referenced at the outset. And Workshop is a multi-user app that allows people to collaborate in a space. And for that, right now, it is as with in this case, it's using sort of real-time meshing to establish location. But we are looking at, and Joel kind of hinted at this, but we're looking at making scans, being able to save those scans and then distribute those to users. So I think if we get some of that foundational work in place, we could look at how that would be deployed in Assist.
The one thing to think about, though, in terms of saving these live meshes is there's actually an advantage to it not being saved and constantly scanning, because if you're in an environment where things move, so like every piece of furniture is not like bolted down, then you could be interacting with an out of date mesh, and so there is value to like situations where you're not relying on a saved mesh, and you just have like a very kind of quick refresh adaptive mesh that's being built based on the changing environment around you.
Wanted to switch gears a bit. Chris, a question that came in from an attendee says, rather than the promo video that we just showed, are you going to be showing a real life live example of this?
Yeah, so I think the best answer for that is that Assist is available for anybody who has a Magic Leap device. So in the device, in the home menu, there's a featured apps tab. And if you click on featured apps, you have the ability to download Assist today. It's free to any user, and we have no immediate, no plans to change that model. So yeah, if you have a device, you can try it.
Lots of opportunity. Go to also Magic Leap, our website, and our how to buy page, and you can learn more about how to get your hands on a ML2 as well. We have just a few more minutes here. I did want to ask just maybe two more quick questions here. And Jonathan, this one's for you. Could Magic Leap or Magic Assist be used inside moving vehicles? For example, a train conductor while driving the train, or a sailor while out on the water?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. It comes up quite frequently. So today, our headset does not support moving platforms. So we have an IMU and our computer vision, and those two are what we're using to figure out where the headset is as it moves around. And we're in the process of exploring other algorithms for tracking that would allow us to function in moving platforms. But today, that's not supported.
Thank you. We'll take one more question here for Chris. And then I also did see in the questions if we would have more webinars around Workshop, which we showed in a remote demo webinar back in October. So we appreciate the feedback, and we're definitely looking forward to doing more webinars here in 2024. This is our last webinar here for Magic Leap for 2023, but we will definitely keep you all posted and look out for more invites for 2024. But Chris, last question here. What kind of files can be dragged and dropped into the MVP? What is this? What is the consideration for compatibility and storage?
Yeah, I think we kind of covered that earlier, but just to reiterate, you can drag it. You can upload JPEGs, PNGs, PDFs, pretty large versions of each of those, and then GLB, GLTF, and a wide range of video formats. And again, we're working very hard to support more and more kinds of 3D file formats, because we understand that that's a really critical. We're getting a lot of feedback that that's a critical ask from the community that's using the application.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Jonathan, Chris, Joel, I really appreciate you guys being here today with us. Again, we encourage everyone to go to magicleap.com to learn more about ML2. If you'd like to test the waters with augmented reality and our hardware, please do go to our how to buy page. Jonathan, Joel, Chris, do you have any final thoughts or anything you wanted to add before we close here?
Just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time to look at Assist. We hope you see the value that we see. It's quite a impressive application, and Joel and Chris did some great work with the team.
And there were a couple questions in there about the videos, this video or other videos. So I posted a link in answer to Tony Lynch's question that has a kind of a more of a documentary of the Assist being used. So that'll be helpful to reference, and that's public.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll also say thanks everybody for joining. And there was a question about whether there would be a webinar for workshop. We did do a webinar for workshop, and I believe that is on the Magic Leap YouTube channel. Is that correct, Julia? Yeah. So
yeah, it is available. Also, if you sign up to join our Magic Leap newsletter and receive marketing communications from us, we also send out more assets, including these videos through that line of communication. So please do, we encourage you all to go onto the Magic Leap website and sign up to receive Magic Leap communications, and you can see more of these types of videos and assets from Magic Leap. All right, thank you everyone for your time and for joining, and we look forward to seeing you more on our webinar series in 2024. Take care. Thank you.